Hey, folks, one of the Redneck Country podcast. You're on with Real Redneck Todd Millard. And, of course, we got the almost guy, Real Redneck Bill. Tom, Bill, are you there?
I am here, and it's a beautiful night for a podcast.
It is a beautiful night for podcasts. It's not too hot, not too cold now.
Just about burned myself on my tea. Yeah, it is too hot. Yeah, what a beautiful. I got a toque on, but it is just to keep the chill off. Yeah, absolutely, I do. It got a little bit cold today with the wind and stuff, and it was like shorts and swimming weather yesterday, and now today it's a little bit breezy out here.
Well, you know, they say
I'm talking to you.
Tea drinkers in their 40s start to hit that thing called menopause. You get a little bit hot, cold flashes every now and then. I'm just throwing that out there.
I understand.
The only thing that's saving grace, is it a Redneck Country podcast? Toque?
No. I gave that one to my daughter, and she wears it around school and gets all kinds of questions. Yeah.
Does he really? Yeah.
Yes, she does. Yeah. She wears it around school, and that's my dad, she says. The other two guys, I don't know who they are. But she's Violet. 9. It's okay. She's 9. How'd you know it was her, not Cheyenne?
Because Cheyenne wouldn't admit that you were her dad.
Yeah. Oh, I'll give you that one. So, speaking of Dad, are you going to introduce yours?
Yes, but before I do, I want you to pay. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I just thought about it when I was doing. Do you know? I mean, we've been doing this for 123, 24 episodes. I don't know. We're in season 3, episode something or other, but that intro just rolls off my tongue. I don't even have to think. It just goes, and I don't screw it up. We don't have to re-record. Have you noticed that? You've never said anything.
I know. Do you want me to pump your ego up a little bit more here?
Every now and then I need it. Yeah. Well,
every now and then you need an ego boost from your day-to-day.
I'm a little insecure,
life.
Bill. I'm a little insecure.
You're a little insecure. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. We'll poll the audience and ask them that question.
I was just thinking that holy crap, I haven't screwed this up. I just rolled right through that, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that just comes right off like it's habit now. You want
to know what I was thinking?
For the first 75 episodes, it was okay. We got to do this one over again. It wasn't good.
I thought maybe the first 3.
Oh yeah.
And the only reason I think we started doing it right off the bat was because we needed to pump. I needed to get myself talking fast, and it beat doing the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
You want to know what I was thinking?
No, I haven't introduced you yet. You're not allowed to talk.
All right.
Who's sitting beside you, Todd?
Sitting beside me, as always, is my father, the Patriarch of Redneck Country, Real Redneck Don Millard. Dad, is your mic hot?
Yes, it is. It was a beautiful night for a walk over, and I enjoyed it. You want to know what I think?
Really?
Or I was thinking?
I don't.
I'll tell you.
I know you will.
I was sitting here watching them do it and listening, and I was thinking, wow, you know what? This high-pitched, fast-talking intro is really getting boring. It's repetitive.
We're going to get a new intro next week. Is that what we're going to do?
You know what? Dad? Yeah, well, we're going to get a new intro to someone. You know what I was thinking was, this person sitting beside me is getting pretty old. Kind of boring.
Yeah, I'm younger than I thought.
Your birthday's this month, isn't it?
Yeah, this month. And I thought I was turning 75. I'm not. I'm just turning 74. My wife corrected me.
I thought you were turning 75. Nope. I've been telling everybody.
Nope. I'm turning 74. My wife corrected me.
You just got a year of your life back.
I did.
Well,
that's why he's in such a good mood.
Cause for celebration.
For some.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give me a minute. I got to go cry in the corner.
So, are we going to get into what we did this week, or are you just going to yap at your
I'm on a roll here. Like, can we yuck this, keep it going?
No.
What else you doing now I can make fun of, Bill? Oh, that sounded like a sip of tea.
I'm having a protein shake as part of my meal. I lost 8 pounds, by the way.
You lost it in a week, in 2 weeks, in 4 years?
2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks, I've lost 8 pounds.
That's good.
Really?
Yep. I got this meal plan that I'm on, and I was very, very hesitant to start off with. And I can tell you right now that it's very good food. Candace has done a great job. I've cut out all sugars pretty much from my diet, and salt. There's
sugar and
no
salt.
Dairy.
No dairy.
no dairy. I mean, it's one of those elimination type things, is to figure out what may have been causing your problems to begin with. And she said,
are we talking about?
Yeah, that was one of the things to eliminate
cut out Todd.
Yeah. I was feeling
8 pounds of baggage
on Monday. Yeah, you are a little guy. So.
Oh, well played. Well played.
Yeah, so 8 pounds I've lost. I feel pretty good. I'm not, hurting for too much. I had a cheat day when I was with my brother there.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. There is no way that he ate anything green that day, or pretty much for the rest of his existence, for that matter. But I'm feeling good, and eventually I got the perfect face for radio, so we're doing all right here. So.
We're gonna go. Are we gonna migrate this to video after 3 years?
Not a chance. No.
I've had requests. They said at least you, Todd. Can you just put a camera on just you?
Put your camera on yourself there and broadcast to the world what you're doing today. But I'm going to get right into what I did, just so that we don't.
Well, can I go first?
If you want to. I mean, I know your dad is going to close this one off.
Well, he's going to close it off, but I mean, I'm going to have to interrupt him a bunch of times with the
Are you?
with the real story.
Okay, now you've heard the rest of the story.
Correct.
He wasn't even with me. He doesn't know.
Oh, I was right there. Shot landing on me right there. We'll get into that. All right. So yeah, folks, hang around, get through the crap that I've got to say, get through the crap that the tea drinker over there's got to say, and then you'll get to hear some cool turkey hunting story. But yeah, for the most part. Well, and you kind of, Bill, you went out turkey hunting, so you've got some to add. I don't have a whole lot to add. So I guess get through me and then you'll get to hear some redneck stuff. But no, so from me this week, I went and got my kayak and brought it home. So I've now outfitted it with my new trolling motor, my 55-pound that I got on sale there right after Christmas. Killer deal. I couldn't pass it up, and my current trolling motor is kind of hurt. So
Is it on your pool table still?
No, I'm going to go there. So it's in the garage. It's on 2 sawhorses, and I installed my new 55-pound Minn Kota power drive with a spot lock. So it's got GPS, and it's got the built-in anchor setting where I just hit the button and it'll hold me in a spot. So I'm pumped. I just got that installed. I still got to install my Garmin fish finder, my new Garmin fish finder on it. But
I have seen your garage. There is no way you can fit another thing in that garage.
So we cleaned the garage a while ago, Bill. So there, but that's the other kicker. It's bittersweet. I sold the turkey chaser, the Redneck Country turkey chaser.
What?
I did. The golf cart has been sold.
Oh, let me take my hat off and say have a moment of silence here.
Right?
What happened? Did your wife finally get to you and say
no? It was
crap in your house?
Well, we had it in the garage and we were like moving it. I asked Dad, "What are we doing? We haven't used it in 2 years."
It's been COVID.
And yeah, but we've still been hunting.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're
So I said, what are we doing? Like, other than the kids taking it out in the back field behind us here, right, ripping it around. But that's not why we got it. We got it because Dad's at knee, who said, I'm done turkey hunting. No, we built the golf cart for him, gave it to him for Father's Day. And then we used it for one turkey season. And then after that, he's lost all this weight. He walks 3 times a day, yada, yada, yada. I don't need a golf cart. So I said, what are we doing with it? Are we going to keep it or say to sell it? Get rid of it. I don't want it. And so I mean, we sold it for a pretty good penny. Can't complain.
Good deal.
And really in today's market for what it's worth. I mean, I think it was a good deal on both sides. And so I wasn't gouging anybody and they were happy to get it. So, it was kind of a good thing. Met some new people when they came to get it. Really nice folks. But yeah, sold the turkey. It's an end of an era. 2 years.
Yeah, it kind of is. And and the interesting thing is you did major modifications on that when you got it.
Built it, right? I got it. It was just a golf cart that a guy used down at Sparta Dragway when he went and hung out there for the weekend, and he rode around on it. So I bought it with a trailer. We converted the trailer to the kayak trailer that we use, and then I still made it so that it's modular. I can pull the kayak modifications off it and still load the golf cart on it. But I took it was painted up like Harley Davidson, and I put a 6-inch lift kit on it. I replaced fuel line, replaced fuel pump, carburetor. Got it. I put shocks on it. I put massive Monroe shocks on it because Scotty's stepdad there had bought Muffler Man's old inventory when they were going out of business. Somebody in town.
So you had it.
So yeah, like he's like, why don't you come on? And I had to get him over because I couldn't get the old shocks off it because the bolt was rusted. So he brought his cutting torch over and cut the bolts off. And while I was doing that, he's like, you know what? I got 300 shocks brand new up in the boxes in the rafters in my shop. Just come pick a couple out. So I grabbed 4 and I didn't even have to use half the lift kit parts because I they got super huge shocks that perfect. And it worked good. So I had a 6-inch lift. I put ATV mud tires on it and we painted it camo. The kids and we did some body work to the back and then sanded it and painted it camo and Redneck Country decals all over it. We revinyled the seats and everything and brown. I mean, it was pretty cool. I did a lot of work to it, but didn't need it. Dad says so what happens in 3 years or 4 years when if you do need it then? Well, we'll buy one then. So no, good point. Yeah.
No, it's sat there. We haven't used it, and here we are, another turkey season, and no, we're not using it. I'm walking. I need to walk, so I'm walking in, walking out. To me, it was more trouble the night before, hooking up the trailer, taking off the modular, putting the golf cart on it, hauling it out, getting it off there, driving in, drive it out, put it back on the golf cart, bring it home, park it, take the golf cart off it, get the modular on so he can take his kayak again. That was more work than me just getting out of the car and walking in.
That's what he says. I disagree.
And I need to walk. I need the exercise anyway. So, and my knees don't bother me anymore. So I'm good to go. I mean, they're still don't work correct. I can't bend them one way, but they don't ache.
But he's a year younger now.
So he's a year younger, so it's all good.
So yeah.
And you got a free spot in your garage now.
So now the kayak is in the garage on 2 sawhorses, and we're about to fix we're camping this weekend, and I'm going to a spot where I found an awesome little walleye hole. So I'm getting it ready. I'm excited.
Yep, and we only use it 1 month a year, so
that'll be a conversation for next week and see how you know. Oh, is this the anniversary of you dropping your dad in the lake?
No.
No,
that's getting close.
That's not till August.
August.
Oh. Okay. It's coming. It's just not now. It'll be a little bit cold. You might want to put a little bit of wool on
and
so
it wasn't
get in the water.
It wasn't my fault.
No, it typically isn't.
Yeah, you got that right.
Good grief. You guys suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did that, and then I've played goalie a bunch of times this week, too. I'm surprised I'm still alive and walking. But
Swiss cheese, or were you doing okay?
You know what? So I'm pretty pumped, and I'm going to say this, and I could be called out because the people that I'm about to talk about actually listen to the podcast. So I play out and have forever on Tuesday nights, but you can now, I get picked up here and there because I got all the goalie gear, and I made it known, hey, I got the goalie gear. You reach out if you need me. So Wendy's husband, Andrew, our local registered, I gotta say this right if she gets mad at me, registered massage therapist / son, Braden, went to build a cowboy and you helped him out getting ready for bull riding / they bought kayaks last year and went to a little honey hole of mine for bass fishing / they are now like getting into fishing and jazz more. So those folks, amazing people. Andrew reached out and was like, hey, Todd, we need a goalie for Thursday at 8. And I had already agreed to play, and it was in Elmer, and I had already agreed to play for another fella that I met a couple weeks ago when I took a goalie gig, and he was the other goalie at 9:15.
All I can picture you is like Kramer with the little kids in the karate class. We're all the same belt. You didn't play hockey with the little tight kids and shut them out.
And let me tell you, no, it was with Andrew's team, and Andrew is just a few years younger than us. But by few, I don't know what that is, but it is definitely not 10. So, because he has a kid, and that would just be scientifically impossible. But anyway. So they were good hockey play, but at 9:15, I had already said yes to them. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be in Elmer at 9:15. I got to be there to play for 9:15. What's going an hour early and playing at 8? So the 8 o'clock game, I actually got texted back by Andrew. I mean, it didn't take any prompts from me or anything like that, but he texted me and said, "Nah, you did pretty good, Todd." And yeah, so I'm like, and dude, they got some players. I mean, they are a team. We have fast hockey on Tuesdays because we've played forever, and we get some young punks come out there, and if they're listening, they know who they are. But we get some young punks come out there that are AAA players and stuff like that, and so we have some fast hockey. But these guys, they were fast hockey in the sense of they play together a lot, so they know where they're at, and they can throw that puck. It looked like Matthews and Marner on a power play. I mean, it was impressive. And he said, you did all right. Now, fast forward to, I come off the ice at 9:00 and go through the little causeway to the other ice pad and get on with those boys at 9:15 who were a lot younger. And I was wore out, dude. You don't know how much work it takes to play goalie, like sweating like crazy. It looks like they're doing nothing. I have a respect, I'll tell you what. And dude, was I beat for that game. I mean, I picture little Nemo when he got taken and dropped on the counter out of the fish tank, flip flopping. That was probably me in the 9:15 game. But it was fun. It was just the 9:15 game wasn't as fun as the 8:00 game.
You're gonna get called back for another 9:15 game.
I don't know if I will get called back for the 9:15 game, but the 8:00 game, I was told that yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And then I played with the old timers. I don't know if I mentioned that. And like they're organized. So their goalie manager came over and was like, "Hey Todd, here's my card." He has cards. I'm the goalie manager for the old timers here. Would you be willing to come play anytime? And dude, I'll tell you, that's fun hockey. There's no egos involved. They don't care. And I mean, yeah, it goes without saying. I like playing for the old timers.
There you go. Yeah, you fit right in.
So there you go. That's me. That's me in a nutshell for the week.
Good deal. Yeah.
So, Bill, what did you get up to?
Yeah, we can skip through a little bit of it here. I went. It was actually a pretty good week with all things considered. I got a bunch of work done on the Volkswagen. I needed to go back to work today for a break. I was so tired after the weekend's worth of work on the bug, but I did actually get out turkey hunting yesterday morning, and you know what? Hopes were so high. And I went to the county bush, a different county bush than I hunted at typically, because it's the one I hunt at, and I shot my bird last year. You can't gun hunt there on Sundays. It's kind of weird. Our wildlife management unit here is broken up into, two sub units, A, B, and C. I think is the base, so that doesn't even count because you can't hunt on that one. But A and B, and one area you can gun hunt, one you can't. So, Saturday I got busy. I wasn't able to go out. Had to take care of the little lady around here because my wife was going out for a hair appointment. So I know you know how that goes. I've seen your Facebook posts late where you.
Let's be honest. Did you go for the hair appointment, and this is just her story you're telling on her behalf?
Yeah, because that's what I do. I'm the one who goes live for the last 5 years.
The names have been changed for the protection.
Yeah. All right. So I was able to be around here, and I got lots of work done on the bug. I got all the interior prepped up, ready to put the carpets in. I did the underlay and the under padding, so we're in good shape on that. But Sunday I went to a turkey hunt in the county bush. And at 4:00 in the morning, I get up, I get out there. The first time there, going in cold, hadn't scouted it this year or not. And I got to my spot, sat down, put the decoys out. Sun comes up, and nothing. Not a gobble, not a chirp, not a bird flying from the tree. Nothing. And
there was no wind either. It was really nice, right?
It was zero. So it was one of those mornings that if a bird had a gobble in a far off land, you would have heard it. Yeah. And there was nothing. So now I'm getting discouraged. And, I texted you, asked if you were out and you had slept in because you were, old. I don't know.
Because I had gone out on Saturday morning as a guide. Yeah. And guiding is more work than hunting.
But I think you were just crying over the leaf loss.
And that.
There. So you slept in. I texted. Nobody was up. I knew my brother wasn't up. being a Sunday morning and all. So I was kind of flying solo. Didn't have anybody to talk to, so I just called. And I called. Yeah, and it was exactly that's what it was. And I called, with my mouth call, slate call, box call, and nothing. And all of a sudden, at 7:15, I got a response. Out of nowhere. They had like no lead up to this, nothing coming around, and all of a sudden one gobble cut my calls right in half, and I was actually texting Candace because we had our air conditioners on the fritz, and I was asking if she had found anybody at 7:15 in the morning to to come look at our air conditioner. But anyways, and I texted her, I said, Turkey, close, I think it's coming. And I got shifted. I changed gun positions. It was off to my left, so it was perfect. The decoys were out 25 yards right in front, and it just gobbled once and was gone.
And that was it.
That was it. Who does that? What bird gives you that kind of little bit of hope of hey, I'm here? And I waited till 9:30. And it was 7:15. I called and nothing showed. I didn't move. I didn't get up to go relieve my bladder. Didn't have a cup of coffee. Nothing. I sat and called back and forth. I thought I was going to call back and forth, and it just was a no call, no show after that. So,
man,
super disappointing. But I ended up going to the gun club afterwards to shoot my frustrations away because it was such a beautiful day. So get home, load up the van. Candace and I went to the gun club, and I shot 3 rounds with Frank. Had a real good coaching session with him. He was talking to me about how I read targets, and he says you're reading them wrong because you're shooting the bottoms. Anyways, it was a pretty interesting little coaching session there, and how he was breaking down the targets that I was shooting from the first round I shot by myself, Candace and I with a group of other guys, because Frank was a little bit late getting there. And I shot a 20. I shot a 21 the second round, and then Frank coached me in between the second and third round, and I shot a 23 the third round.
Right on.
Yeah, and I dropped, after he gave me all those coaching tips, I dropped the very first bird of the round, and I dropped one on station 5, and I just inkballed the rest. And then after the round, he says, hey, $250 an hour. Well, he was joking around that he was going to charge me for his coaching time after that. But he says, no, you look so much better when you were shooting, the way that you were reading those targets and how you were shooting them. It just, you were on them. And you know what? I felt it. It just, you know what? You guys have both been in rounds where you've struggled, and you guys have been in rounds where they're just easy.
You just can't do anything wrong.
And you're on.
Target, yeah.
And you're like,
every
crap,
target that came out,
I should have missed that one, and I hammered it. Let's keep on going.
That's it. And the one thing I did consistently was I rolled my. I'm a left-handed shooter, so obviously the gun mounts to your left shoulder, and my left shoulder, I rolled it a little bit forward to lock that gun into the pocket of my shoulder a little bit tighter. And I felt like every time I put that gun up, it was consistently mounted in the same spot, and it felt perfect, and the targets just felt easy. So I rolled them, and he said the only thing you could do now, because I'm shooting a light full choke tube, he says, drop it down. Now that you know where the gun's shooting, if you get into competitions, use a little bit more open of a choke tube, just to
make
the ones that you may have
easier.
Just missed. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he'd rather chip and chop to a 25 than break a 23 and not be in the money. So I get his point, and I like seeing the ink balls when when I'm on them with the light full. But maybe I'll shoot a couple rounds with a more open choke tube and see what happens. So
right on.
There you go. So that was my week in a small nutshell there. Oh, my son played football too, and he blew out the team 64-7.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it was 42-0 by halftime, and they kind of, once you get up by 36 points, they run the clock. So He had a good game. He had a couple nice hits on special teams. He was starting offense. Didn't get any targets as a wide receiver, but they've had him on kickoff as well, because there was a lot of opportunities to kick off in that game. And so he had a couple really nice tackles, and he did okay. In his first game in a new team, and they won 64-7. So I think they're opening up a lot of eyes around the league. So
yeah, right on.
There you go. That's my week.
Congrats, Hunter.
Yeah, let's get to congrats to another hunter.
Ooh,
not you.
Now that's
not
a lead-in.
Not you.
I was impressed by that. Yeah, well, I'll take that, because that would be congrats to the best guide on the planet.
Oh, here we go.
But nobody's named guide, so it is what it is. All right, Dad.
Yeah.
Monopolize our time.
No problem. How long have I got? An hour and a half?
About 35 seconds.
Anyway, as you know, Bill, I got the hot rod out.
Yeah.
I did a couple nice cruises because we had some real nice weather this week. Took a couple little runs, and Friday night we went out with friends for supper. Bill and his wife and my wife's sister, and they had one of their granddaughters with them. So I took it out for supper Friday night. Parked at the restaurant, went in for supper. I come out, and their granddaughter wanted to ride home in it. Nope, no problem. Went on a cruise down the main street and took her home in it. And every light there was thumbs up and waves and people waving from the side of the road. And one guy pulled up, camera out, took a picture. Another one pulled up on his window down, said, "Wait, really nice." Anyway, it was fun. Got home. I said, "Well, did you enjoy the ride?" She said, "Oh, that was fun." And people really like your car, don't they?
Yeah.
She was busy waving back, so that was cool.
It's an awesome car.
Yeah, but one headlight drifts on me. The bracket that holds the headlight up and out there, the bolt come loose, and I can't get it tight. The other one I got tightened up. This one I can't get tight. And on the highway in the wind, it drifts back and ends up pointing out to the left of the car. So today I went over to Scotty's stepfather, my buddy Dennis, and I said, "I can't get it out, can't get it tight." He said, "Need two hands or two pair of hands. Let's get this thing fixed." So we got the bolt out and figured out the problem. So he found a new stainless steel bolt, and put a couple of nuts on one end and got it in there and wedged in, and then put her back on and got her tightened up so it won't drift now. So now I'm happy.
Back in business.
Back in business. Yep. Now I go on the highway and won't have to see the light going out left. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So anyway, we did go hunting Saturday. So I got up at about 3:30 and picked up Todd, and then we went and picked up Scott and Michael. And I said, "Where are we going, guys?" I always let them decide. So Scott says, "Well, we're going to go back to the same place we were for the last 2 weeks, trying to get Micah turkey." And I said, "Okay, well, then you guys pick where you want to go. This is originally Scott's place, and he's the one that got permission." And so I had a shot at one the week before. That was when I cut the tree in half. And then last week, the one came and was coming to us and changed its mind. Looked like it was going to Scott and Mike, then changed its mind and went back. You heard that story. So anyway, they picked the spot they wanted to be. They said they're going off in the corner. So I said, "Well, I don't have a problem. I'll go back down the bottom." And Todd says, "No, you go up top in that little wood, fall down wood cabin we made up there." And I said, "Well, I thought you wanted to go up there." He said, "Well, I'm going to go over the ends and down below that." So
hold on, pause. So where we're talking is the bedroom that we've always talked about that I creep into. Yep. So instead of creeping Dad right into the bedroom, that log cabin's about 30 yards back or 25 yards back, maybe 20. I don't know, from where I would creep into and sit down. Where last year I had Dad and Bill in there, and we had a turkey come in, and I poked Bill, but it'd seen him move and it took off. So this time, instead of going all the way in the bedroom, stayed back, put him in the log cabin. So I went ahead, took his chair.
Let me tell that.
No, you want, but I did it.
I was going to tell you that. I was going to give you credit. So,
but I didn't finish where I was. So instead of me sitting with them and going into the bedroom, obviously, and being 20 yards in front of them, 25 yards, I went down below. So that bedroom is a ridge. Yeah. And so the top half is what I call the bedroom. They're all roosted in those trees. And then there's about I don't know, a 15-foot drop off, maybe a 20-foot drop off down, and to the bottom that's flat, and they roost on that ridge. On that 50, every tree coming up, that's where you got 15 to 20 turkeys are all along that edge, and they'll either drop straight down into the bedroom or they'll drop straight down into that bottom, into the ridge, and down below the ridge.
You're still seeing that many this time of year?
No, we didn't, and I was going to get there. So he's ahead
normally.
of the game.
Well, I'm saying that's what we see.
The first time,
okay.
there was about 15 in there, 15 or 20, and then the next week there was probably about 8 or 9. But anyway, I said, okay, you sure you don't want to go in to the bedroom for a better name or whatever, or along the edge? You sure you don't want to go up there? Because I'm not going to, you're picking. You want to get Michael a bird, and this is your spot. He said, nope, going over in the corner. Because I said, I don't want to go anywhere that's going to cut you off and stop Michael. He says, no, technically, I'm going to cut you off if you go back down the bottom. And I said, I don't care, because if they drop down the bottom, I'm good. But Todd says, no, go up into that log cabin. And I said, yeah, okay, it's easy to get to. It's nice up in there. I'll go there. Are you coming there too? And he said, no, he's going over the edge. So, okay, so we get everything ready and away we go. And he says, give me your chair. I'm going to go ahead of you because it's a plowed field. And it's easier for him to carry the chair and go quicker than it is to me. And he'll get it set up before I get there. So I said, all right, so away I go. And he says, make sure you pop up. I got this little 4x4 or maybe 3x3 square blind, but it pops. It pops. You know how them tents, you pull the sides out and they go
yes.
pop. Well,
it's a hub. The hub blinds, right, where the sides pop out.
It's just one panel, and it has sides on it with poles, and you just stick them in the ground. So you got like a lean-to in front of you.
Exactly.
It's like a lean-to.
Sounds like thunder going up.
No, I figured out how to do it quiet. It ain't that bad.
Sure. He takes his hearing aids out.
No, I figured it out.
It doesn't make a sound if I take my hearing aids out.
If you try and pull it up in the air, you just put it on the ground and get a little push.
If a tree falls in the woods and you didn't have your hearing aids in to hear it, does it make a sound?
No. All right. So anyway, I go past the first wooded point. I go past the second wooded point that comes out into the field. And now I start to cut into the field. So I get the blind out. I lay it on the ground. I push the center, just a little, and it snaps into place.
How'd that go?
Never mind. I pick it up. I got the arms folded in, and it's light, easy to carry, and I head over to the edge. I walk along the edge. I see where he's put his gun in his pack. I thought, okay, I'm going to stand right here. I'm not even going to attempt to go in the woods until...
Look at that, 74 years later, and he's finally able to learn.
And I could see the pathway, and I thought, no, I'm just going to wait here. So anyway, he comes out. Yeah, he takes the tent from me, and away we go. And so I get in there, and he just places it in front of the chair. He's already got the chair in there, and he's okay. Sit down.
I took his gun and his gun rest out of the case and put it down in the woods way back on the corner.
Put the gun case back in the on the edge. So anyway, he opens up my tripod, hands me my gun. You good to go? I'm good to go. You're not staying here? No, I'm out of here. Good, get. So I sit down, but I realize he's got the blind way too close to me. I got to have about 18 inches between me and the edge.
I didn't care, Bill. It was sun up. I'm out of there, man. I got to get to my spot.
So I pulled the stakes out of the ground and I moved it forward.
A good guide would have stayed and made sure that he was absolutely set, ready to go. And
the way I seen it was that woke every turkey up and watched him sit down, and I needed to get away and get down to where they were flying away from him.
So I pulled it out of the ground, I lift it up, and I put it forward. Now there's a big log that's coming right in towards my feet, almost straight in. And so that meant that the base of it is sitting up there. So it's about a foot off the ground, maybe even higher off the ground. But that's okay because the little log cabin wall's in front of that, over that log. So you can't look underneath it. You can't see it's off the ground. And it made just made the angle a little steeper or a little longer out in front of me. I got it a distance away so that I could use my call and everything in front of me. And then I took the tripod, colded it up, and would put it right down through the hole in that lean-to. It's made
Oh,
for
yeah. That's what I'm looking at there. Okay.
So then I got it the proper place. Then I pulled on my mask, put my hat back on, got my gloves on, got all situated in it, and I realized, man, I'm way too high. I reached down, and he's got all 4 legs telescoped. And I thought, well, okay.
Because that's what he does. I did it for him.
No. I like to lean back a little, so...
And I had you leaning back a little.
You did, but you didn't have to lift the back ones. I'm thinking, okay, if you got the front ones 10 inches out, you don't need the back ones 6 inches out. So I closed the back ones up. I got out of the chair, closed the back ones, set it down.
All that work I did, and then you undid it all.
Exactly. Give me lower.
Oh, my gosh.
Then I pushed the chair back.
And why don't I sit with him,
And I
Bill?
just flipped the lever and let that leg fall. I flipped the other lever, let that leg fall. Set it on the ground, sat down in it. Perfect. Now I'm about 6 inches lower than I was. I'm even more behind the blind, so now I'm perfect. Now I'm situated. And I had an idea where he was, and I told him I'm going to start calling early because the birds, for the last 2 weeks, they've come out of the trees early. I mean, right at first light. They're on the ground. I've seen them sit there till 7:30. But nope, the last 2 weeks, they've been on the ground early. So I thought, okay, I'm going to call early, because I want the toms to think the hens are right where I am. I don't want them getting down on the ground and then try and call them in. I want them to think ahead of time where they are. So I'm sitting there. Now, I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant or anything, but I'm going to show you how my calling was and how it worked. But it might have been due, like when they came to me, it might have been due because he was right below me over the ridge.
So pause there for a minute and let's now sidestep. And so follow Todd. So I ran down as fast as I could to the bottom and got in under the ridge or under the bedroom. And so I snuck in, and it's like a little mini apple orchard almost. It's not apple trees, but like that's what it's like. The trees are low.
Sure. Yeah.
So I got to get low and weave through on the deer run and find a tree. And then I sit down, and this is where I sat last week when it got light. I was 15 yards from the ridge, a little too close, but there was one on the roost. I watched him, and I watched him drop straight down in the bedroom. So I thought, he didn't even know I was there last week. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to the exact same spot. I'm going to sit against the exact same tree. I know where I'm going. I'm good to go. So I'm on a mission. Boom. And especially after spending all that time with Dad. So boom, I go. And I get in there and I sit down, and I keep hearing rustling to my left. And I'm looking, and I'm like, is somebody coming through this woods? And so I'm looking, I look over, and there's nothing. And then 5 minutes goes by, and I hear... I'm like, is there a deer coming through? And I'm looking for deer because it's where we had 2 deer come out of this spot right to us 3 weeks ago. So I'm looking, and I kept hearing it all morning. Like, I shouldn't say all morning because, I mean, we're literally talking 10, 15 minutes. But I kept hearing it, and there's nothing there. Nothing there at all. So I was sitting there, and then I could hear gobbles way, way over. And I thought, okay, every time I've snuck into the bedroom, they're either there and thick. I mean, 10, 15 turkeys, or they're not there, maybe 1 or 2, and they're all way like 2,000 yards away, but they come there. So I thought, okay, this is one of those mornings where they're 2,000 yards away, and we got to wait for them to come down and come this way because there's no goblin in the trees above us. Right?
There was none.
There was none.
Okay.
And I'm looking on the ridge, and I can't see any turkeys roosted anyway. And I'm looking, and I mean, I'm looking hard because I'm 15 yards. I can see them. Like normally I can see them all. Nothing. So I'm going, all right, we got one of them mornings where we got to sit and wait.
So I'm sitting there and hear nothing, and I told him I was going to call early. I'm in the woods, and I thought to myself, it's 6:30. If I was in the field, I would be able to see pretty good right now, but in the woods, it's just a little dimmer. The light's got to come in through the trees. And I thought, nope, I got to start calling now, because if there's any here, they're going to be down on the ground pretty soon, but we never heard a call or nothing. So I got 3 different calls on my box call, so I started out with a young hen. Did you
bring your turkey call?
Yeah, I always have it with, I got 3.
Oh, y'all are in for a treat now.
I got a young hen call. Then I got the mature hen call. And then I've got the old matron raspy hen call. Yeah. I get that right here.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that was the one that called the turkey in.
Yeah. Jen's yelling at me.
there.
I thought you got rid of that old chalkboard.
No. Anyway, so I'm going through those calls. I'm mixing them up, and every 30 seconds, 45 seconds, I'm mixing them up, and I'm calling them, and I'm making it sound like there's 3 different hens there, and nothing. And I thought, I'm just going to keep calling all morning then, because they're not here. They're not in the trees this morning. And after about 15 minutes, I hear this loud.
No. The first one.
No. Maybe you heard it.
Okay.
That's not what I heard.
Well, the first one, it did this, Bill.
Yeah, I never heard that.
That was it. Literally. It goes, and I'm like,
Swallowed a bug and decided to stop.
And I almost jumped out of my skin because guess what? That I kept hearing was turkeys in the tree right freaking side me, straight up above my head.
No way.
And it just goes, and it stopped dead. And I'm like, that was definitely a turkey. But like you said, it was a gobble that started and like a bug flew in his throat, just shut him up instantly. It was literally a buck, but the start of a loud gobble. Like it was loud. And I'm like, what on earth was that? But then I thought, but that was a turkey. So I thought, okay.
There's hope.
It's right there. Well, now I'm looking. Well, I'm down. I had to crawl through the thicket. So when I look up, it's all thicket over my head, like vines and thorns. So I can't see through it to see if there's a turkey in that tree, but I know it's there because it was on top of me. And that's why I kept hearing I was hearing them fluffing their feathers on the branches above my head.
That's crazy.
I get my call and if I can't see them, I figured, okay, they can't really see me a whole lot. And my movement, I'm very limited. I had gotten my call out as soon as I sat down and I was just ready, just sitting there. So I just, nothing.
Flaco?
Yep. And nothing. So I, nothing. I'm like, what's going on? I know that was a Thom. So, and I can hear him gobbling 2,000 yards away, not at me, because I'm really, really light. I mean, they're right there. So I want them still looking for me, right? But I'm really light. And so I went into the purr, just and then all of a sudden, and okay, now and it was, again, it's over my head. It's there. And I'm going, to me, it's more than one because one sounded really strong, one not very strong. And then the other one was just that. So,
and that's what I heard. I heard the main gobble. So now I'm just calling every few minutes, but he's not answering. And then he gobbles again.
And that was
right
because
after,
I was sitting there calling. Now I'm nonstop. You know me. I call. And I'm thinking, I don't care. This is how it goes. It's either going to drop straight down on me or it's taken off. 9 times out of 10, they go the other way. Right. Yep. And you're like, what could I have done that would have brought it in? And like, I've set up within sight of them before and I've shot them, had them. And we've had one want to land on our boots and hover over our feet, just about to touch down when it realized those are people. and then Dad shot it. So I've had both, but the majority of 90% of the time, they're going the other way. And I'm okay with it this time because going to my left, I got Scott and Michael, and going to my, I'd say 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7:30 is Scott and Michael, right? Going to 11 o'clock is Dad. And then if he goes down, he's mine. So I'm okay because he's in front of me. He's in between all three of us, albeit right above my head, but just far enough in front of me that he's in between all three of us. And if he goes the other way from my call, he's going to Scott and Michael, or he's going to Dad. And if he comes down to my call, he's mine. So I'm okay. So I kept calling, just light. But they shut up. They quit gobbling. They did not want to hear me calling. And it was not long when all of a sudden...
Let me tell the story.
Well, that's why I stopped.
Gee whiz. We're not even there yet because I'm still calling. I can't hear his little calls. I'm still mixing up the calls. And then after a few minutes, I get the other big gobble again. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to use the matron hen call, the raspy one. So I spaced out the call a little longer and just gave that one. And I thought, okay, now it's even getting lighter. Now I'm just going to make a call like they're walking away. Because when they come down, I want them to think that they're walking away. I want them to get anxious to come down and look for those hens. So now I'm just doing a really light call, just really light and low. And then I do another one even light and lower than that, and I set the call down. So now it's getting on for, no, it's after 5:45. It's getting close to 5:50 now. And all of a sudden, 3 come out of the trees, and
now I could see them.
They're right.
You could see them come out of the tree.
I could see them come out of the tree.
I
once.
saw 'em
Did
come
you
out
hear
of
your dad call?
I did.
You did, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I saw them come out of the trees, and I realized they got to be right over Todd because they weren't in the trees on the top of the ridge. They were in the trees that were growing out of the side of the ridge. I don't know how far down, but they weren't.
No,
high.
they were 10 to 15 yards off that ridge. They were in the trees right above me.
They were in the trees.
The few trees that go straight up, they were in them.
They weren't very high, and that's why I couldn't see them because they were down below all the branches and everything that I was looking to the ridge through. But I saw them when they flew, and they landed right down in front of me at probably about 60, 65 yards, maybe less than that. But 1, 2, 3. Now, if you hold up your middle finger and the next 2 down to the pinky, 2, the middle finger and your other finger, there's just a little bit of a difference in size. The one on the right was the biggest. The one to the left was the next size down, and then the pinky is a big difference, and that was a small one. And it landed on the left. So there they were standing right in a line, even with each other, looking my way. And I could see them clear. Well, as soon as they landed, the smallest one did nothing. But the 2 biggest ones, they threw their heads forward and gave a gobble at the same time. I couldn't see beards because it was far enough away and it was dark in the woods. I couldn't see their beards, and I thought, oh, how am I going to tell if they're toms or not? Well, they threw their heads forward and they both gobbled at the same time. And then I knew, okay, they're toms. Just don't lose sight of them, so I know I'm shooting at a tom. Neither one of them puffed up. They never, did the strut, nothing. And they never gobbled at all. Again, they were silent. Now they started walking towards me, the 3 of them, even with each other, coming towards me in 3 different lanes. And I thought, okay, they're going to come right into this clearing, and I'm going to take that big one. Well, then they stopped, and the biggest one was on the right, and he turned and he started walking a little bit to the right of me instead of coming straight at me. And I thought, okay, let him keep coming. He's going to come around those big trees and right out in this clearing. But he didn't. He went behind all this brush and the 3 big main trees and all these smaller trees and vines and brush. He went behind it, and I couldn't see him anymore. And the other 2 are still standing there, but the next biggest one is looking at the big one. So I thought, okay, he's watching him walk. And he's walking to the right of me, and I thought, okay, if he comes out around all that brush, all he's got to do is come around and come towards me, and he's mine. Well, when he came out of the brush, he just made a little bit of an angle to the right, and there was a big log laying right on the edge of the field, like a 45-degree angle, not right at me, not diagonal to me, just kind of an angle. And he walked up to that log and he jumped right up on that log, and now I can really see him. He stretched up, he put his neck straight up in the air, and I thought, okay, he's mine. I put the gun up on his body, and I come up to his head, and I watched down my barrel to make sure that there was no little saplings or anything in front.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, I went right up to his head. Then I come right back down his neck to where it's joined the body, and I could see his whole neck and head above my bead, but I couldn't see his body at all. He was far enough away that the gun barrel obliterated his whole body. But I knew I was in line. I let her go. Ka-wham! And he went straight down off that log and did the funky chicken. I looked back over, and the other, now the little one had disappeared. The smallest bird had disappeared, gone. I figured ran back. The other one is still standing right there. I brought the gun back and I held it on him, and I thought, man, if Todd was here for a split second, I thought, if Todd is here, we got a double, because that one didn't move. I had time to move the gun back, and I could have shot him. And then I got thinking, well, not necessarily so, because we wouldn't have been, chair wouldn't have been in the middle of that little log line we made. It had been one to the left, one to the right. Depending on where we were sitting and the view we had, one of us may not have got a shot. Who knows? Who knows if he would have got a double or not? All I know is I could have shot them both. And then he turned and he ran right over the hill down towards Todd. So then I looked back to make sure my bird was still laying there. Yeah, it's still laying there. The wings are still flopping. And then to my left, and a little bit behind me, out about 30 yards, a turkey came out of the tree and flew straight to Todd, to the ridge, and right down over the ridge right to Todd. And Todd never saw any one of those 3 turkeys. Never saw one.
I heard him fly. I heard him. Scotty said that there was one flew right over their heads. So I think one ran down the ridge up from me, and then it flew. It took off as it hit the edge of the ridge, because I heard the wings, but it was far enough away. When they came out of the tree towards Dad, I seen them hit the ground and walk towards Dad. I could just see the top of the ridge, and they disappeared behind bush. So I knew they were walking to him, and I thought, do I text him and say, turkeys are coming? Is he aware? But then I thought, his phone's probably not on silent. It's going to go ringing off. Then he's going to reach for it, and then it's going to be my fault. So I'm just going to sit here and shut up.
Good idea. Good idea. Now
After 40 some odd years.
Now, hold on, because when Dad pulled that trigger, here's a unique part of this story. Now, I'm not worried because, like I said, I'm 15 feet or so below Dad and a good, 100 plus yards away. Now, maybe 100 yards. And he is aiming at me, right? But I'm below the ridge and a bunch of trees between us. Now, when he pulled the trigger, there was stuff bouncing off me. I'm not going to lie to you. Whether it was debris from the trees up above me, like his shot ripping through them and hitting the tree, or whether it was shot,
it fell down on you.
And whether it was shot bouncing off the tree and dropping down on me, like I felt things hit my arms, boom, 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 when he pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I knew it was
crazy.
But I knew it was safe. We know the woods. We know where we are, right? Like we're in constant communication.
He was in a valley and I was up.
Yeah, I'm so far. And I say that ridge is 15 yards, but then it's a gradual upslope to where Dad was too, right? So, I mean, he's a ways up there. We're always safe. I know where we are. But he wasn't shooting in my direction. I was way over to his left. So, but
you learned your lesson from the last time your dad gave you the red scarf and told you to sit out in the woods. That's it.
I never learned lessons. I never learned lessons. Bill.
I was feeling pretty good about my calling. And I was thinking, wow, man, I mixed some calls up.
He was so pumped.
I ended up using the matron call, and then I used the silent.
We're gonna have to coin that.
I used the silent, the little call to make it sound like it was walking away, and I thought, man, it worked. They come out of the trees right to me. They walked right to me. They were looking for the hens. I mean, that big one clearly jumped up on the log, and he stretched his neck, and he looked right out into that field. His head was going back and forth. He was looking for turkeys, and I aced him. And then I got thinking afterwards, not to sound cocky about my calling, they could have come my way because they spotted Todd down below, right underneath them, and they decided to fly my way and look for the hens that way too.
It's hard to say. Usually, if they're that day, they wouldn't just fly 15 yards and drop on top of the ridge if they were that worried I was there, right?
And no decoys.
No
decoys.
Not in the woods.
There you go.
And that's why Dad probably got a crack at him, because he was looking for the hen. He was on the edge of the woods, looking out into the field for the hen. Wasn't looking at Dad, wasn't looking at his decoy, puffing up way away, trying to get the hen to come to him. He was coming looking.
But what got me was the other bird, and it was a tom, and it wasn't as big as that one, but it was a tom, and it stood right there trying to figure out what was going on, and it was staring me down while I'm looking down the gun barrel at it, and it finally turned and ran. It didn't walk away, it turned and ran. And it was after that, and I thought, okay, I better text Todd. So by the time that I got my phone out and started to text him, I've got, well, And then I got another text with question marks, and then another one that says hello. And so,
well, like,
He's
what
a little
takes you?
impatient when you don't text him back.
What takes you so freaking
Holy
long?
smoke.
Like you pulled the trigger 20 minutes ago.
You weren't the most important thing in his morning there, fella.
No, sir.
He had
Bill.
other things that he was
And
taking care
Bill,
of first.
let me help you. I'm the most important thing in everyone's life at all times of the day.
and because I sat there so quiet and didn't move yet, that bird come out to my left. Now, that bird might have saw me reaching for my phone or whatever, but anyway, that bird finally came out of the tree to my left and flew right over Todd, and I thought, oh, perfect. And I waited again. I didn't call him or text him because here's another bird headed his way. I heard no shots. I heard nothing from him. Opened my phone, had all these texts, so I just said, BBD, big bird down, and I said, 3 came your way, and he texted back and said, never saw any of them, so... Anyway, I was pumped. It was good. I went out and got it. 10 minutes to 6. That bird is dead on the ground. I went and picked it out. It was 21 pounds, 6 ounces, 9.5-inch beard, 1 16th-inch spurs. So I was pleased with the bird. And I thought, okay, now I can just close my eyes and have a little nap for the next 4 hours because these guys aren't leaving till 10. And we didn't. We stayed there till 10, but I was pumped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's the perfect morning when you can shoot a bird that early.
Oh, yeah.
Your plan worked out exactly perfect. You got in there. Even though your guide was very disappointing in the way that he set you up, you still managed to persevere through all that.
I was thinking the opposite.
turmoil.
The guide put him in the exact right spot.
I'd have found the log cabin on my
he
own,
wanted
Bill.
to go. He wanted to go elsewhere. He wanted to go down the bottom, and he'd have been completely cut off and nothing.
Well, who knows? I might have been calling down there and called him down the bottom. Who knows? My calling was right on that
It was
morning.
just your day.
Yeah. So,
You know, you couldn't have done any wrong that day, and the birds would drop right down on you.
yeah.
So that to me is a story of perseverance and success.
Yeah.
When I say perseverance, it's hunting with Todd for 3 weeks and then deciding to go on your own
That's right.
and making it happen.
Yeah.
And success.
Yeah, that's right. Because I thought
I've seen the pictures.
if he was still there and I moved that tent, moved the chair, and changed the legs, oh my gosh, he'd have been having a fit. He'd have been
tell you what.
inside out. Anyway, I did feel bad, and I still feel a little bad because Michael still hasn't got a bird. And 2 weeks in a row, Michael was up there. He was in the bedroom once, and he was only about maybe 20 yards from where that bird stood on the log the second week on the edge of the field. He was along the edge of the field just outside the woods, and he was only about 20 yards from where that bird stood on that log. And this time he moved to the far corner of the field where 2 weeks prior the birds had been coming from, because those birds up in there all went down the hill, and lo and behold, what happens? They come right down and right to me, and so Michael still was in the wrong spot and hasn't got a bird yet. But
Yeah, I don't feel bad at all. I mean, this is a game of opportunity and being in the right place at the right time, and
Or
everybody.
having a good guide.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go next. Having a good guide. Yeah.
right.
But things have happened pretty easily for some, and you appreciate it more the longer in the season you go, and however many early mornings you get up to, and you start to hunt mean then, and you start to hunt angry.
Make it happen.
And then you start to make things happen, like
And that's
we
when you
do,
learn
so-
how much fun turkey hunting is and what you can get away with.
Yeah, and I promise you, Saturday it's no decoys, running and gunning. I'm going to set up in the poison ivy patch like I was going to a couple weeks ago before I went down to see my brother there.
I think you should take Friday off and come join me here.
Yeah, I think you're not going to even be there. I think
Yeah,
you're going
Friday. Friday morning.
Yeah, I think I better go to work because that makes my paydays possible going to work. I know that yours.
and you got a car, you got to
Self-employed.
put parts on.
Well, and gas is at $2.09 a liter.
Am I not worth it, Bill? Am I not worth it?
Carrying on to another section of the
Tell him the
podcast.
truth,
here.
Bill. Tell him the truth. Are you
I don't want to
kidding
hurt
me?
his. He's fragile. You know, he's
I
not even
just
fragile.
know.
He's
I just know I'm the
European.
most important thing in everybody's life at all times of day, and I just can't believe that you're lying to yourself about this.
Either way, I haven't had a chance to ask Todd. I've been wanting to, and I kept forgetting. I know he was sitting right down below me. He wouldn't have been 100 yards, but he would be down over a ridge and in a valley. And I, like, when the gun went off, were you shocked or were you?
Not really. I was waiting. I watched them walk to you. I seen them because I could see them just their tail as they hit the ground, because all three came out darn near the same time. And I could see them hit the ground on the ridge. I mean, they were 60, 70 yards up from me, like on the edge of the field up top. Like they were 60, 70 yards up that way, maybe less, maybe 50, when they hit the ground walking towards you and I could just see their tail disappear behind a bunch of bramble and walk towards Dad. So I figured there was going to be a shot, because I'm thinking he's not that far. Like if they're 50 yards from me, they're only 50 yards from him.
Yeah, did you
sure.
think it took too long?
Yeah, I was waiting, thinking maybe I should have texted him.
No, I was waiting for the big one, and I had the other one in plain sight the whole time, but I was waiting for the big one. It turned out Todd used his rangefinder. It was 35 yards to that log, so it would be just over 35 yards. He was standing in the middle of the log. But either way, I waited for that bird to come out to the right of all that bramble, and I was lucky. He jumped up on that log, and he got right up where I could really see him, and I let him go. So when I explained to Todd where he'd come down and the distance he had to walk over to that log, but the other one stood right there, Todd said to me, he said, I don't know if I could have waited for that one. He says, I might have took that one that was in your sights the whole time.
I could have waited. I said, that's not what I said. I said, I can't believe you waited for that one. I said, I'm surprised that Jake, if it was a bearded hen and there was a 42-pound Tom standing there, but the bearded hen was shootable, the bearded hen would be on the ground.
No, I don't know if I'd have had the patience to wait for him.
No. See, his hearing aids weren't in.
No.
That's it. I mean, you spare no ammunition, though, Todd.
Oh, that's the cheapest part of this sport, folks. Let it rain.
Anyway, it was a good morning. We had lots of fun, and
did you cook it up yet, or you say
no? It's not in the freezer yet.
Tomorrow night, I want to cook some tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I got some shake and bake I want to try on it.
I got it all cleaned out, and I got all the parts all wrapped, and I didn't freeze them on purpose because I figured we're going to have them one night this week. They're in the fridge, but I did soak them overnight, and the next morning, Sunday morning, I took the parts and put them in a bag and wrapped them all up, but I did soak them overnight in salt water, and they're ready to rock.
Good deal. Brine them a little bit, and then you're going to get the smoker out and put them on that with the shake and bake recipe?
With the breast, I might, I don't know, I don't think I'll use both breasts at the same time, but I'm going to take one, cut it in half, and I'm going to make dressing, put it between it, tie it up, and put it in the oven, and roast it with the dressing in between the two pieces of breast.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't find a lot of difference between wild turkey and these tame ones you buy, and you stick the dressing in and roast them. I don't see a lot of difference. To me, they're both taste the same. They're delicious. Now, the legs, I find, are a little tougher, so we'll do them a little differently, but that's because the wild turkeys do an awful lot of running around in those
Sure
legs.
They do, yep. And, I found that, too. They're tough. They're tough to eat.
But either way, they're good. I don't have a problem eating them. They're awesome.
No doubt in my mind he doesn't have a problem eating them.
Well, I tell you there, Todd, you and I just got put on notice here by the sounds of it, and we got to pull up our socks for the last 15
off,
days
man.
or whatever.
I can now hunt. I don't have to worry about him anymore. I tell you what, he's up on that.
He was holding you back.
He's up on that ridge, and those turkeys come out of that tree and hit that ridge. He better hit the deck. I'm running up that ridge, and I'm shooting him right there in front of him before he gets a chance to mount his gun. And then I'll say, "Hey, will you pick up my bird there at your feet? Thank you."
I have a hard time thinking your dad's going to be motivated to get out of bed at 3:45 in the morning.
That's about it. Are we going hunting in the morning? Well, if you want to. Well, if you got Scott, no, probably not.
Do I need to buy another tag before Friday?
See, that's what. Do you need me to buy a tag?
Anyway, it was fun. We had a good day.
That's a good story, and I think that that's motivation for our listeners here. That we're going to have to
Yeah, tell
get
you
out
what,
there and get something done.
might have to get out of here as soon as work's done. Hit the woods. Have to hit it hard now.
I'm thinking too that the spot I went to on Sunday it's got to be a good afternoon spot. There was turkey tracks everywhere. It's a little bit of a sand base, and I guarantee they're using it to like a dust bath type thing and stuff. But there was tracks everywhere, and I didn't see a bird. So, but I'm thinking that it may be an afternoon spot even.
Could be if they're coming through. I believe we have a spot that is an afternoon spot. There's never gobbles in the morning, but we've seen them in the afternoon crossing the field.
You shot very many birds in the afternoon?
Not a lot, but we don't hunt a lot in the afternoon, right?
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I can say that too. I love the getting up early in the morning, hearing them on the roost. And watching them come down
They're
in the
not
trees.
as vocal in the afternoon,
No.
so I find...
No, you got to be a lot more patient, that's for sure.
You just answered the question. Now, a couple years ago, I did sneak it in that bedroom. I went in on a Sunday afternoon only because I had a super close encounter the day before in the morning.
Right, too.
And I'm like, screw it, I'm going back. Or it was the same day in the afternoon.
It was the same day, and you made it happen then.
Yeah, and I just went back, heard a gobble, got down below the bedroom and called like crazy, hiding in thorns and thicket. And it actually came around behind me, down from the bedroom, and I slammed it. Yeah, no, I did in the afternoon. And then he was super vocal. He came right in. I mean, he was 2,000 yards away, and it wasn't 20 minutes. He closed that gap on me.
Now, I would sooner go hunting in the middle of the afternoon than getting up at 3 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning. But in the morning, you're home at a decent time. You're home before noon. You're cleaned up. You're put away. You got the rest of the day. You want a nap, you can have a nap. But when you hunt in the evening,
Wife pending,
getting home after 8, sometimes 8:30, and then you got to put all your stuff away, and then you're getting a late supper, and then the next thing you know, it's bedtime. So there's pluses at both ends and minuses at both ends.
Yeah. Well, I tell you right now, I rocked a nap on Sunday. It was great. Getting up 4 o'clock in the morning, going turkey hunting, then going to the gun club. I had a nap. It was awesome. So, yeah, that's a good plus. I think a nap is a plus. I didn't hunt out or nap out in the woods. I never do typically. And so Friday for you, Saturday for me. We'll keep in touch, and hopefully
you're gonna really want to go Saturday once I smoke mine on Friday.
Oh yeah, there's no question in my mind. I'm going to be up 3:45 in the morning because I got a little bit further distance to go on Saturday morning. I'm going to get out to the woods, no decoys, and be motivated after seeing the Todd Millard story coming, and we'll go from there.
That's right.
I wonder how he'll act, Bill, if I sit with him and say, okay, it's your turn to shoot. I just want to sit with you and watch, and then smoke it before he gets a chance.
I think that'd be an even better story.
Yeah, I want to see that. He's got to hear it, then he's got to see it, then he's got to be able to sit up and mount his gun.
Well, guess what? I think I did pretty good without you sitting there next to me.
I think he did all of that.
I was the guide.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know where the little log cabin was. I built the thing.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't have got into that quietly. You'd have put them out.
Oh, no.
Anywho.
Well, thank you very much for the conversation and story, gentlemen.
Ditto.
Yeah, that's been fun.
Have a good week, and congratulations again, Don.
Thank you, and good luck for you coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at that. He's confident. He was really talking to me, Bill.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to you.
Have a good one. Oh, good grief.
And that'll do it for this week, folks. For the Redneck Country podcast, I'm Bill, the Almost Guy Tom.
And I'm Todd, and thanks for listening. And folks, if you want to be part of the podcast, or you want to give us some feedback, or really contact us about anything, feel free to email us at podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Again, that's podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next week.